Chill.
Two bits.
Nailed it.
Hey, everybody.
Right on time.
Welcome to VFX and Chill, your cartoon headquarters. I am Hashi. Here with me, I have the lovely Seth and lovely Michael.
Hi, lovely
Hi,
Michael.
how you two doing?
Good.
I'm doing great. It's one of my best friend's birthdays today.
Me too. Wait a second. We're talking about the same best friend. Seth can now legally drink in most states.
God.
Finally.
Weird that
Happy
Tennessee
birthday,
makes you wait till
Seth.
40. Thank you both very much. I don't know if we want to. We don't need to roll through the gift haul, but my
Birthday
family,
gift roundup.
Okay, gift roundup. Let's do it. It's a live show.
Hey, also, while he's trying to do that, feel free to put your comments in the chat of your well wishes and felicitations.
Post your favorite Seth moment in the chat.
Absolutely.
Like the
That'll
time
be your
he
gift to
almost
him.
spilled an entire Lego set that he just got on the floor. My wife gave me the Home Alone house Lego set, which I'm going to set up every Christmas like it's a nativity set. And
Amazing.
my son got me the Master Sword from Legend of Zelda to hang on my office wall. My daughter gave me Weezer's Blue Album on vinyl.
Dang.
And my other daughter gave me a book called Colors of Film, The Story of Cinema in 50 Palettes. It's like a book full of movie color palettes. Like,
Look at
these
that.
people know me. See, this is what happens when you spend all of your waking hours in an office, neglecting to spend time with your family. They understand your interests fully, 100%. And that's what really counts. That's what really matters.
It is. And Michael Pollack mentioning that you do look just like Buddy Holly.
Ooh. All right.
Amazing.
So that's gift wrap Paula. Gift haul wrap up.
Gift wrap.
Gift wrap up. I don't know.
Amazing.
Guys.
Yeah.
What we
Next
talking
time.
about today? What are we doing?
I'm super
Michael
excited.
Pallex mentioned so that was a very nice opener we had.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Let's talk about it at the end of the show, because it's really we'll spend the whole show talking about that opener. So let's hold it toward the end. So Michael, remind us around 1:30-ish, and we will.
I mean, I want to talk about the latest Raptors thing too if we have time.
That's true. Okay, look,
Well,
let's just
yeah,
do a
yeah, we can
mid-show. A mid-show.
Yeah, we'll do a mid-show roundup.
Yeah, we'll check.
I'm super
in
excited
with
about the show.
a wrap-
I'm
a
going
wrap
to my
up.
screen right now. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
Because Michael said that it would be a great thing to talk about this week, and so Seth and I did some prep.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
we did. So you've gotten farther ahead than I have.
All right, check it out, everyone.
That's a beautiful tuna. So how are you
Thank
doing?
you very
tuna,
much.
How are you doing this tuna shading?
Well, the difficult thing about tuna shading is that like they reflect different colors than their actual base color is. So there's a lot of like consideration that has to go into this stuff. But I actually had good leg up because of some physical reference that Seth had.
It's a little metallic though. Most tuna that I've seen, they're a little more like. Here, I brought this reference. Like,
Let's see.
it's much more. It's not as reflective as like that. Like the sheen is not as metallic as that. I'm not sure. I struggle with that on textures, is knowing when to mess with the metallic slider, when to mess with the shininess slider. Michael, what do you think?
I think that I always try to tune a piano, but I can never tune a fish.
Damn it, Michael!
I don't know if that was merited because we are in the middle of.
A very big, long pun in the first place.
I don't see what the pun is. We prepared for today's show. Hashi and I don't usually prepare, and today we.
I know it's lots of.
We heard
tuna.
that there was a new tuna shader, and we
I
didn't
brought
find it
reference.
immediately, so we set to work.
We did it. Hashi, did we do this joke sufficiently?
I think we did.
We did it. Yay. Tuna kiss.
This is my wife Mandy's joke, who I think believed that this was what I was talking about for this week. I was like, oh, you're saying Toon Shader? Not Tuna Shader?
And
because I was so excited.
It speaks to the nature of our show that she didn't question it.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the things we've talked about.
Yeah.
But no, we're talking about toon shading. Ba-bam.
Look at that. Who you got there?
That is just gorgeous.
This is wild.
I love that so much.
Thank you so much. As many of you likely know, toon shading is the style of shading a 3D model to kind of resemble the way it would be shaded if it were a cartoon, where you have distinct little like outlines around stuff, a quantized color palette, and the coolest thing that has happened is that there is now a toon shader built into Redshift, which is really cool because that means it's insanely more responsive, and you can preview it right here. Look at this.
Yeah, if those of you who've used Sketch and Toon in the past will recall how very slow it was. Very. Now you can get some looks with it that you can't do with the Redshift Toon shader, especially on extremely sketchy, messy lines. But holy crap, look at this thing!
Yeah, it's fun. See, I'm just gonna
really
play with this little Ben deformer for a second because I want to because we discovered something about Benny. This is. So this is obviously Benny from Roger Rabbit, and we needed to.
You should put a jet engine on the back. Several, in fact.
But and have the jet sound louder than the song.
Perfect. I think that's what the goal of today's show should be, is to add rocket packs to this. So there was not a great 3D model out there, so I had to build this one myself.
I'm very proud of it. We need to give the creator props for it, as we always do on this show. But the creator was in this case you, and it looks stunning. Like, that thing is amazing. How did you model that? Just box modeling in Cinema?
Just a ton of box modeling and throwing things into the remesher until I got a really nice topology and stuff. Cool. I even did these checkerboards right here. I think. Let's see. How can I reveal it?
Are those modeled?
They are.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me see. Let me turn off this for a second.
You're gonna love this, Michael.
So they're polygon selections.
Perfect.
Along there, this little checkerboard pattern. I was like, I could do a really cool texture on it, but they just got to be checkerboards.
Do it.
Yeah, here he is. I'm proud of this guy.
Wow, you didn't. You got quite a lot of detail on there. Holy cow!
It had to. Well, and the other thing that Seth and I realized about Benny is that Benny, I built him symmetrically, but it doesn't look like himself until you start doing this. See, now he's got that bend and squash and stretch and stuff like that to keep him on model. Which was difficult while building this to try to.
I do want to say there are some ways to get some really good sketchy looks out of the toon shader, and that would be in comp. You could do like a very pure white material with just the outlines, and then treat those outlines in, like, say, After Effects to give them a sketchy look. Everfresh did a tutorial on how he uses Trapcode Form to make his 3D renders look more painterly. And it's actually quite fascinating. If you want to poke around for that somewhere on the internet, I'm sure someone could find it. Hang on, I'll see if I can find it. It's really cool.
That sounds amazing.
Let me look it up.
All right. Well, let me turn off my little viewer for a second and start up a new document here. I can show you broadly what we're talking about. Let me see if I can grab one of the models from our asset browser here. What would be something fun and silly to be able to convert?
Well, there's some plants. There
are some plants.
Not plants. That's kitchen, cookware, colorist, spoon, home decor.
Yeah,
Hashi, people are asking what your GPU you've got is.
Oh man, my GPU is I think I'm running a 2080 Ti.
So old.
So old.
To answer your question, AB.
Yeah, I often don't run Redshift, especially on the live show, but this toon shading episode really is a good one for it.
There's a honey jar. I want to do a honey jar.
Oh, and hey, in the chat, you've got using trapcode form to add a watercolor to your 3D renders from Everfresh. So there you go.
Oh, nice. Ooh, wait,
in the
I want
chat.
to see what these
Go grab it.
headphones look like. Oh, I forgot that these headphones are super overpowered. They've got little rigging points and stuff like that. I've used these for something before, I think. Michael, I feel like I put these on you for one of our 3D somethings. But anyway, this is a standard model in here. Just using the standard shader where everything kind of looks a little bit more realistic. Mm-hmm. But as far as I know, and Seth, unless you want to teach this bit.
I thought I did, but you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. So let's see.
Oh, real quick before you dive into this, I do want to say that Redshift is also in the chat. So if you have any questions about this that we can't answer,
the Redshift,
the Redshift,
the Max on Redshift is in the chat on the Red Giant YouTube channel. So if you've got questions that you want the Redshift to answer, hop on over to the Red Giant YouTube channel where we're also streaming. For those of you who are unaware, we stream this on multiple channels at once. So we're on the Max on Training Team YouTube channel, the Max on YouTube channel. We tend to stream this several places. So yeah, hop on over to the Red Giant YouTube channel and ask your question there, and the Redshift will
the Redshift
will answer.
That is amazing. I just feel like I'm going to go back to this chair. I think this designer chair right here.
That's a good one because there's only going to be a few materials, so it'll be simpler to kind of break down what it's doing.
Right now, this has, I believe, Redshift materials on it, and so I'm going to switch over to here.
Make sure you switch your render to Redshift in case you're not in it. Yep,
I didn't realize I started a new one. Yeah. All right, so yeah, right up here in your render settings, you can go into here and say Redshift, which should be the default, I think. So I've got a couple of materials right here, and you can see it like this, or you can see it in this lovely view where you start the viewer right here, and you can get kind of this. It looks a little bit boring right out of the gate like this, but if I go over to my asset browser again, I can go over to, let me clear that out. I can go to HDRIs, and I can just look through all of these HDRIs that are available to me right here, and I could click on one and just click it and drag it over into here, into the empty space, and let go. And what that'll do is Redshift will automatically add a dome light with this as the lighting material. So look at this. So now this chair is rendering in this kind of a lighting environment, which is pretty cool.
Super easy.
We were talking about. I know this is a little bit easier than I've probably made it out to be in complaining meetings.
No, I know.
Yeah, you get it. That's pretty neat. But I want to create a new material for this because I want this to be kind of cartoony. So I'm going to go to this dome light really quickly, and I'm going to turn up its intensity a little bit because it's a cartoon. It should be brighter and happier. And I'm going to go up to my material creation, and I'm going to say, Seth actually taught me this. You go to create a material, and then you go tune. And now you have a new tune material. And I can drag that onto, say, the chair.
I have EJ's tutorial to thank. Michael sent us a really great tutorial by EJ that's like... it's like 45 minutes long. Michael was like, this is a really concise explanation of the toon shader. And I opened it up, and I'm like, it's 45 minutes long. And then within a minute and a half, he's like, and just click this, and toon shaded. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I forgot to watch the rest of it.
It was actually very easy.
So I don't know anything beyond this. I just know that's how you do it, and it's super simple. And I know where to find the controls, but I don't know what to do with them, so that's why I'm excited today.
That's pretty cool. So, beyond that, you add this Redshift Toon material. The very, very quickest way to get started is just you create a new material like this. Then you can click on it there. And right here, you can change the base color to be something like blue again. And now what's kind of cool about this is it's using other Redshift properties like the reflectivity and the and everything to make it kind of just this otherworldly cartoon look, which is pretty cool. But
and what's really cool about it is that...
Oh, let us know.
I was going to say, one really cool thing is that you'll notice the chair is toony, but the legs are still photoreal chrome. Like, you can mix and match, and they will have an influence on each other. It's crazy.
It is wild. Like, down here, if I got up close, you can see that the Toon material is reflecting the real...
And being reflected in the reel. Like, it's insane what you can do with this.
It's amazing. So the one thing about the intro to this show is that I made a lot of it back in September of last year when we were headed towards some other animated show. And then I was like, I don't think I'll be able to get it done in time. And so I would just every now and then go back and do a little bit more or a little bit more. And then finally we were like, we've got to get it in gear. Plus, it was Seth's birthday. We had to do a Roger Rabbit intro.
Yeah, I love that this morning we were like finalizing that Roger Rabbit intro on my 40th birthday. It made total sense.
It really is what anyone should do on their birthday. So this is pretty simple. To create a new material, Toon, by default it's kind of white. I could make this kind of grayer, and now I could sort of stand in for these legs, and I could drag it onto the legs, and now the legs will render in this cartoon style as well. But if you wanted to go even further with the look, you can actually double click on them and look at the way that it's happening here inside the actual node map right here. So we have our Toon material right here, and that's plugged into the surface output right here. But the reason why things look a little bit cartoony is because the base color has a tone map enabled right here. This tone map is plugged in from this little ramp right here. This is basically just an uninterpolated ramp of 5 different values. So let me turn off the reflectivity for just a second. Right now, the reflection even has a tone map for how much it'll reflect, which is kind of cool. But what do I want to do? I want less of that for the moment. Reflection, I'm going to turn it down. So we're just looking at the values of this seat here. And right now, you're just sort of getting that blue value, even though it is actually, in theory, shading it a couple of steps more. So to have proper shading, you need to have lights. So I'm going to jump out here and just create, let's start with an infinite light. This is the first one that EJ talks about, and it's a good one to start with. But an infinite light, you can move it around and nothing will happen because it's actually supposed to be directional only. So now if I aim this down, you can see I'm finally getting a different shade on here. So let me go to my light and maybe turn up its intensity a little bit.
And if you turned off your dome light, that will also make the infinite light much more noticeable.
That's a good point. Here we go. Let me go to my dome light and just tell it to be
chill.
To use less of this image.
Hey, look who's in the chat.
Hey, it's Todd Vaziri.
Is it Redshift?
Hey, Todd.
Hey, Todd.
We are, to answer your question about what we are doing, we are talking about cartoons today, and specifically how much fun you can have with a Toon shader in Redshift.
What you made.
Hey, look at that!
Check it out. Look what I made, Todd.
Who's that?
Todd Vaziri, famous from those Corridor Digital VFX talks.
First time we ever knew of him, ever saw him.
really helped get his name out there.
Yeah, he definitely hasn't worked on all of our, so many of our favorite films.
Ashi, for those who don't know, who is this character right here?
This is Benny from Roger Rabbit. Benny is a cab. And oh my gosh, you would love the attitude that Benny has about the world.
The attitude.
Just a real character, that
You'd
Benny.
You'd love it.
You'd love it. Amazing. So yeah, today we're playing with the Toon shader and seeing how you can make these kind of non-photoreal but really cool blended looks in here. Now, Michael, I feel like you were showing us a pretty cool example
yes.
That I think it would be great for you to jump in and talk to us about.
I agree. Pull that stuff up. Let me know when it's up. I think you muted
I think it's
yourself,
up.
Mike.
Oh, there we go. It should be up now.
Okay. Beep, beep, bop, a doo. Oh, my buttons. All right. Pigeon Lady.
Pigeon Lady.
Hey.
So one of the things about the Redshift Toon shader that I've noticed is that, if you want to adjust the lines, like for example on this one, if I go in real kind of close here, you can see that these lines are a little bit kind of more sketchy. If I fuss with this max on noise a bit more here and make it right, you can see some of those lines are very like varied in width. If I take this off, see that line is back. Let me make this line a little even thicker to really show this off. Let's see, my external thickness line, we'll make that much bigger. And that'll feed this back into it. But anyway, if you wanted to adjust this kind of sketchiness, you would have to do it in every single material because it's in a material. There's a couple ways to work around it. You put a reference shader in here and then on all your materials, but I didn't want to fuss with that. I wanted one material. As you can see up here, I only have one material in my whole scene, but everything is different colors. How is that possible, you're asking?
How?
Yeah. I will explain. On every one of these models in here, you'll see that I've changed on the basic tab in Cinema 4D, I've changed the display color to be automatic. If I take this toon shading off, you'll see that that's what my viewport looks like. So each object in the viewport, just with no material at all, is going to show those colors. And then when I put this material back on everything, the very important key is this little node right here, a color user data node. So you hit C in your keyboard and go into color. You'll have, or not color, in where is it at? I always just type user data when I hit C. So you see
user. Is it from user interface there? No.
It's from user data, yeah. In utility, I think. Hang on, let's find it. Yeah, user data, right here. Utility, user data, color user data. Any hoozles on the color user data node here.
What's that?
You go to the presets.
Any hoozles?
Any hoozles. You go to the presets, objects,
hey,
object
Mike,
color.
I really thought you were legitimately referring to a Redshift term. Like, so if you need any hoozles,
any hoozles
right
or
here.
wutzels?
And I was like, okay, Dr. Seuss is just writing.
It's like anyway.
Yeah.
No. So you grab the color user data, and this will then feed in your object's color into Redshift. And so in this case, I'm feeding it into the color on my toon material, and then you've got the base tone map over top of it, which tones it down. So you got the kind of gradations and shading on there. And so yeah, that's why you can quickly get everything to be different colors, but all based on one toon material. Now, of course, if I were really designing a character, I'd probably want some different materials to have different outlines, colors, and different outline styles. For like the birds, for sure, I'd want a more ruffled outline on them. So I'd probably fuss with a different outline. But just for really quickly getting a cool toon look over everything, and you want to have different colors, you just slap a different color. So you by default, let's say if I add an object into the scene, this cube, by default the display colors material, you just change it to automatic, and fuss with the colors, and you pick different colors there. So yeah,
that's a really, really great way to handle it.
Really great way. Yeah, I like it. Now, I do want to say that you can feed all kinds of crazy stuff in here. So you'll notice on all these material nodes here, you can adjust like the exposure and the all these things here. You can feed nodes into them, so you can add noise into the ramps. You can add noise into the exposures here to really affect your settings. EJ and Hello Lux both have some amazing cartoon packs of materials you can buy to really look and see what they did with it to dive in. So highly recommend that if you're interested in seeing what some real pros can do.
Not like us.
Right.
Yes, don't let anybody know that we're not real pros.
Don't let anyone know.
That is an amazing technique. I love that because the line width. Could you dive into the contour shader node there?
Oh yeah, hang on. Let me share my screen.
Oh,
again.
sorry. I could do it too if.
No, that's fine. Okay, so the contour node.
I just wanted to point out what it looked like, and that this would be on any. Comes with any toon shader.
Yeah. So the contour node here lets you have settings for the external lines, which are outside the model, and the internal lines, which are like the
Yeah, like if you have like a hand and the fingers are overlapping each other or something.
Yeah, because right now I've got detect separate meshes turned off. It gives you control over that, so it's recognizing that these wings are a separate mesh now. But if I turn that off, it just puts those external lines on the outside. Let me get this max on noise to be a little chiller here. Do the brightness up a touch. So see how that's really making it very cartoony. Look at like a sketchy. Again, I love how fast.
It's so amazing how fast that is because if you've used the old Toon shader, which I used once for another defunct episode we never used.
So I'm feeding this max on noise here, which if I solo it, you can see what it kind of looks like. And I'm gonna change this to be a different type of noise here to give it a more sketchy look. Let's see. Let's do fire maybe. Let's see. Let's do FBM. Yeah, there we go. It's more sketchy looking. Oh, hey. That is too dark. Is it? Why is that being so weird? Where's that?
Maybe is that one by default on a different
there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Go back in here. Back down. There we go.
Yeah, and you get some nice little
real sketchy. Now,
look at that.
Yeah, what's really cool, I mean, there's so many things you can do with this. So right now, let's see, it's input. If I do this you have it in world space. So if this character animates, then those will boil, which is fun. Or you can have it in object space, so they won't. And of course, you can animate the noise here. You get animation speed turned on. So you could do like all kinds of stuff with this. And I'm feeding this max on noise into, you can see here in the thickness modifier for my external lines. So I got my thickness right here. I'm going to change this up to something big like 40. And then it gets modified by this noise. And again, anytime you're using a max on noise, it's always a good idea to solo it so you can actually see the scale of it on your mesh. And then you can go into your input here for the overall scale.
And show how you larger. Solo it and switch it back on and off.
This little solo button right here is so handy. In older versions of Redshift and still in the if you use the shader graph, kind of more expressive style, you have to like feed that into the surface for every node you want to solo, and then you have to remember which node you had fed in there and all this kind of crap. Now you can just hit solo, and it automatically shows you. Apparently, it doesn't like to unsolo though. That's a bug I need to report. Hey, Redshift.
Look at that.
You're still in the
Redshift in the chat.
If I solo and then unsolo it, that happens till I hit refresh up here.
If you have any bugs to report, please find Michael's personal accounts, social media accounts, and let him know.
Don't work on Redshift. So yeah, so there you go. So I'm feeding that to modify the thickness, which is a very handy way to get more sketchy looks in there. And of course, you can use max on noise to affect all the gradients and whatnot. So let's see here. We'll get my lighting a little less overall here. But hey, it does not like that either. Interesting. I'm just finding all kinds of bugs today.
Bug finding.
Never found before. So yeah, see this here? You can feed noises into like this tone map here. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Let's see that? Look at that.
Beautiful.
So if I fed a max on noise into there, it would drive how grungy that is. Like, there's so many things you can do with this. You see base tone map's got that noise right there. This tone noise frequency way up. Like, come on, look at that. So much fun. So much fun.
Excellent. If you have any additional questions about things you could do with a Toon shader, please feel free to leave them in the chat. Also, if you've joined the chat from any channel other than the Max on Red Giant channel, there's the biggest chat is usually happening over there. So you're welcome to switch on over there and join in the big chat, where you can chat with people like Todd Vaziri and Justin Leduc.
Who is very proud that he's never used the word any hoozles. But now, as you'll see here, if I turned off the internal contours, so we've got contours only outside, but then little details like this button here, if I hit enable, now I've got a little line around there to kind of really set it out. And you can adjust the opacity of lines. You can adjust the angle threshold for when they do or don't appear. See, if I go too far down this road, it gets... like there's more detail, and you get too thick, just determining when something is seen as an edge there.
Absolutely. And I mean, the camera distance, how it affects,
yeah, it doesn't. So
is important
just like
for your taste,
Just like a really drawn cartoon, the lines all stay the same size as the thing gets bigger and smaller, which is nice. Hey, little bird. Cute little bird face.
It's a cute little bird. Look at that.
And just, again, look how cool and sketchy that looks. And I haven't really done much. I need to really mess with the lighting.
Let's just need that that's right out of Redshift. And because
I know
you likely have your project set up with a cool Redshift renderer, but you might be curious to see what would happen if you could style them a little bit more like this. And especially a lot of animated movies right now are, I feel like, doing these amazing hybrids between these kind of toon shaded looks mixed with a lot of you still want a lot of cool control over lighting and stuff. But
speaking of lighting, so right now I've got my reflection. I had my reflection turned off here, so we were just getting the default lights with no reflections. If I add the reflections in, we're getting reflections off of this dome light here. To turn that back off, I do want to point out there is a rim light you can add in here, and you can adjust the width of this and how it looks on there, how it spreads.
Ooh,
so you get this kind of cool backlit look here, which is obviously not good for my particular scene, but useful to have for some scenes. Very, very useful.
It is.
And you just can have it linked to specifically linked to lights. You can feed tone maps into it like so. You can feed those in there. Like there's so many things you can do with this to get all kinds of looks. And of course you make them emissive. It's like, so good.
So very, very cool. I would love if anyone has worked on a cool project that they think would lend itself to some toon shading. I think that would be really fun to just experiment, throw some toon shaders on an existing project and fiddle with it to see what kind of stylized looks you could get. Invent a whole new look. All right. Well, that's toon shading, everybody. No, seriously, what's cool is that it's actually so remarkably fast to apply, and your controls are all right there within the Redshift shader. And so, yeah, I mean that's what there is about it. Like some of the examples that some people have done with a little bit more time playing around with them are super, super cool.
It's pretty neat. I guess we could dive into the intro.
Oh yeah, I can. Let's see. I'll share. I'll go back to screen sharing, where I'm sharing this picture of Benny. Benny.
Took me a second. Sorry.
Wait, let me see that one again. Benny. Look at that. Insane. Amazing. Oh gosh. Okay, so what did we just say? The intro. Let me load up. I had to remember where we had our latest everything.
Intro renders is where the intro is, where the actual render is.
Oh yeah, the same folder it is every week.
The VO2 has the full stuff on it.
All right,
Your
so we can take
cartoon stuff, which I love.
Maxoon cartoon.
You should talk about the overly complicated way you did the Maxoon cartoon logo.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's if you missed it, here was our exciting intro. Let me see if I can play it through. So this is obviously a fun homage to Toontown as it appears in Roger Rabbit. And this was an insane little build. This was something where I wish I'd been able to shade Benny like I did here. That would have been really cool. So we'll have to do a special edition at some point. But here is this exciting Toontown. You can see it has some lovable characters such as Steamboat Willie, Mickey, and also some trees from the probably like 1938, Flowers and Trees. It might even be earlier than that. Disney cartoon.
This is so much work.
So much work.
I didn't notice the grass you ended up doing. that really fixed the problem you had?
I had a lot of problems with with the foreground seaming up to this. I should open the project. It's ridiculous. But the ground in Toontown is these like blankets sewn together, and so I ended up doing something very silly for that, which was I built this. Let's see, where is it? So
you sewed these quilts, made these quilts.
I sewed these quilts myself. So I made and used content-aware
quilt
or generative fill
quilt
to make a seamless quilt pattern like this. And then I kind of painted a couple of different little parts of it. Let's see what I have. Oh, I forgot that all of my recent files are that uvula shot at the end of this.
Still not confident we're using the right word. Monster House completely has thrown me off because it had that brilliant joke of, oh, it's a girl house. And now whenever I say uvula, I question whether I'm saying the correct anatomy. Let's not unpack that any more than it needs to be.
All right, so I made this.
A quilt map.
A quilt map.
Quilt map.
And so let's see, I'll show you from scratch. Basically, I created a little, just a plane like that, but I added a bunch more segments to it. So I don't remember how many.
Throw a 3D model of a grandma in here knitting a quilt for you. So what I did was I dropped her in here,
and just started her on sewing, on quilting. Insane.
I would go make a quilt drop, but I don't know how long we're going to stay on the subject.
No, I don't think we'll stay on this for very long. Okay. I thought it was fun that the way that this was mostly done was what am I doing? Now I'm in the Redshift mindset. Where is everything? Elements. Goodness gracious. We also work in all sorts of ridiculous folders when we're building these. Okay, so I had a quilt texture that looked like this, which actually, now that I think about it, I probably threw it into the Luminance channel. And in case you didn't know, if you're in the standard material editor and you have something like an imported model and everything came in the wrong area or something like that, you can just click on the thumbnail from it and drag it to another property and let go of it there on another property, which is cool.
Very good.
So yeah. So I threw this on like this, kind of boring. But then I also added a little displacement object to this, into the plane like this. And on my displacer, under shading, I went and loaded in that kind of painted on top of displacement map. And look at that. It's displacing like a puffed up quilt like this. And the wild thing about this is you could either tile the material or tile the instances of this together, since the texture is pretty seamless. And so I basically tied a whole bunch of these together, added 2 additional displacers that sort of made this sort of like hillside looking thing, and then flattened it out toward the center. So the landscape flattens out for my little road, which is an After Effects road, and have this one copy that looks like this and one copy that's tinted yellow in the background to sort of simulate the way that they were doing the multiplaning from this angle. And I also made a very silly little... I should actually open up the actual project. I made a fun thing that just takes any image and gives it a little bouncy, dancy thing. So let's see, what did I call it? Footage, elements, bouncy tree. But this is a fun little template where whatever you put here
will bounce.
Yeah, like we can
that's
say.
Brilliant.
Whoops, black text.
Blext, as we call it. Oh,
this is still on my typewriter font.
Happy birthday, Seth. Love the movie 7.
It's perfect. It's perfect. This is Seth's favorite thing. Is
let me see if I have a
squeezed
thank
fonts.
you drop. Oh wait, I don't. I just have that.
Just that.
That'll be used all the time on the show.
I think this top adjustment layer is just a bunch of warps and the bend it effect. So if you put anything under that, it just sits there and does this.
That's so great. Holy crap.
And so everything can be on tempo, which is very, very silly.
That's a template you can drop. The like bounce with me template.
So you can put a little like
VFX
cartoon tree in there, and then the cartoon trees will all go dancing in here. So here's this 3D file. I don't remember how quickly it refreshes. Yeah, so this is a while. This is a big build to get to work. It also features cameos by the Three Little Pigs.
I just saw us when you zoomed in.
Us. This is my favorite frame, actually, right here.
Yeah.
Look at this. I'm just...
Hey, you filming this? You getting this?
Ridiculous. Don't look at the camera. Don't look at the camera. Oh, there's Dumbo in the background there. There's Bugs Bunny doing playing a little fiddle song. And then also, I think there's some others.
There's as much copyright infringement as we could jam into this intro.
So much. Oh, there's a Cab Calloway rotoscoped Fleischer cartoon.
Is there like one live action person that has nothing to do with this property? You could put in like Tony Soprano or someone just kind of walking around confused.
I should have put in Tony Soprano specifically. Oh, and this stupid sun face that I did. The technique that you use in Busted, where it's just a face and an inverted optics compensation moving around.
Oh, so yeah, the Brian Beam
slides all around.
Brian Beam taught me that trick a long time ago. That using optics compensation to simulate 3D movement of a simple spherical face is actually really useful.
And I hooked up it's a 360 background using Horizon, the Trapco tool, and the layer for the sun in there is connected to a 2D null over in this comp.
Smart.
That way, as I was trying to composite, I could take this little null's path right here and drag the sun to specifically where I wanted it to be, so it could transition as this moved around.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
And then, yeah, the hardest part of it all was probably the silly Benny. Because, as we'd mentioned, he doesn't look like himself unless he's being distorted. And so I did this big combination of keyframes on the tires for this spin out, having him kind of squash, stretch.
It's nice.
Do some of these kinds of things.
This is in 2D that you're adding a lot of the stuff.
No, it's 3D distortion, actually. So he's got like a bend on him that can go left or right. There's a squash and stretch kind of one where you'll see like that. It'll get wider. And it'll do it to everything, including us. So we get squashed and stretched along with it, a la the movie, where sometimes Bob Hoskins is hand animated, but looks... It's amazing. Whenever Benny is going like bouncing along a long stretch of road or whatever, you can see the little hand painted Bob Hoskins, which is great.
I thought I was busy thinking about Squash and Stretch are like cartoon crime, like a buddy cop sitcom
Squash
you and I
Stretch
could make called Squash and Stretch. It's about two cartoon cops.
Ooh, I love it.
In a live action world.
I'm down for that.
Michael, anything interesting going on in the chat or on the internet or in the world or in your life? You're muted, my boy, my dear boy.
Yes. We have a couple of good questions, actually. Justin Leduc, first-time viewer, says, "Hello, Max on Red Giant. Could you please demo the quantizing of a color ramp on the 3D model? Thank you. Big fan, by the way. Haha." Yes. We could demonstrate that if you hang on. I can pop on. I got a demo.
Perfect.
Share screen. Start sharing. Okay, hop over. Let me know when you've got me up.
You're up.
All right, so here we go. I have adjusted the quantizing on the color here. So I'm using the same technique, by the way. Each leaf group, under my basic tab, I've got different kind of leaf colors in here, and the trunk has got, I didn't change on the trunk. I changed it on each individual one in here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What matters is, on my base tone map here, I've adjusted the gradient to look like this instead of its default, which is different. And what I'm doing here is I've only got the 3 colors, so it's going to be either the base color multiplied with this gray or multiplied with this much darker gray. But the really cool thing is this is just a Cinema 4D gradient here. Like, you can change these interpolations. So I'm going to make this one smooth. And then you get this kind of interesting shaded fall off. Like a lot of anime styles have that. So I've got hard lines here for this one, but a soft line, in here. I'm gonna make this a little lighter here. So there you go. I'm gonna make this one even lighter as well. So there's that's too light on that one. But there's kind of ways you can mess with it right there.
It'll be perfect for like an Octonauts episode. Right. If you're out there making the
Octonauts bootleg Octonauts.
Show us where the tone map features in a property of anything, like the color, the base color, or the reflective.
Right. So it's basically
but show us where you think it is.
The tone map is feeding right in here into the tone map. It's just saying, how are we toning this? Like, are we? It's using a gradient to interpolate the colors. Now, I think I'm going to go in here real quick so you can actually see it a little better.
Perfect.
Shouldn't have zoomed in.
What if I wanted like
viewer
5
window, like
colors
some sort
instead
of
of 3 colors?
Hang on. How do I recenter this view here? Boom. There. Oh, did not mean to hit that button. Let me move my camera in here a little closer. Hit play on here. Let's get much closer here. What was the question? Crap, I forgot what I was doing.
What if I wanted to have more shading steps?
Oh, more shading steps? Mm-hmm. You would just add them here in Le Gradient. So I'll say here, pick another one here. Remember, it's just a gradient. And if you wanted to go really crazy, hang on, let me take this one here and make it like you can get nuts with this. So wherever it's darker is now going to be this weird green color multiplied over the main color. It's very interesting.
Ooh, that's cool.
Generally speaking, I wouldn't want that. I would want this to be more of a darker shade here. And this one being like the shadow, I might want to make the interpolation on, let's see, on the knot, perhaps a smoother fall off, so you get more of a smooth shade there. Let's see, what else? I was going to talk about. What else was going to talk about? I was going to something else. But I mean, that's basically what I wanted to show.
Think of it. We can jump back.
Chad Perkins is asking: is there a way to selectively choose to have stronger contour lines on different parts of the same material?
Chad, look how handsome you look in your profile photo. Sorry.
No kidding.
Yeah. It's good to see you, pal. All right. Sorry.
No. So he's asking if you can make the contour lines different. Yes, you can. By feeding whatever you want that you have in Redshift into the thickness modifier. So if you can get like vertex maps or that sort of information in here, or max on noise, field, or vertex maps, which can be driven by fields, whatever.
So if you had a character that had some, like if its geometry had a bunch of extra points around the cheek bones or something like that of the face, and so it was always getting these extra interior lines, you could use a vertex map and paint that whole face area to say like, no,
don't have a thicker line.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, for that, I would probably use different material or a different, like a whole other model. and then use constraints or deformers like the shrink wrap deformer to get it to be on the face where I wanted it to be. But you do have options for dynamically controlling it in any number of ways. You can use gradients. You can use, whatever you want.
That would be a really cool way to do that.
Yeah. Oh, this was something else I wanted to talk about. I don't remember what it is. I'll stop sharing and I'll have a think about it and I'll come back to you.
That sounds good. I'm trying to remember from the chat what we had going on.
I mean, we're at about the midway point. Do we want to talk about?
Sorry, Chad is saying, does Seth Digidouble have face tattoos? Looks like post-production Malone, which I thought was a very funny joke.
Excellent. I appreciate that joke.
Goodness. Speaking of post-production Malone, should we mention our
Raptors?
Our Raptors, our
That's
other
what
channels?
That's what I was thinking we should do now. How do we want to talk about this? Do you have a project file to open? Do you want to?
I do have the project files. Do you want to open up? Do you want to play it for people?
Yes.
I didn't think to have you grab it earlier, but it is in our Twitter renders.
I tell you what I'll do. Let me open it up. 1 second. I'll play it in After Effects. That's just how we're going to do things today.
I like that.
VFX and Chill. Go into the thing and stuff in Raptors folder.
I'm going to find wherever the heck I saved it.
Do we have to rename that folder to something else?
I don't think we legally do.
Michael, what do birds think of Elon Musk?
They're not a fan.
Okay, good to know. Should we make shirts now that it's been mentioned on mic? Birds don't like
Perfect.
Elon
It's an
Musk?
inside joke now, everybody. We love it.
Okay, I'm going to play this through once, and then I'm going to say
All right.
renders.
Clever.
Give me just a second while it renders.
Excellent. I don't know what the heck I'm doing over here.
Almost done, and okay. So, audio on. Let's talk about this. If we switch over to mine, I'll make this bigger. What the hell is this?
So, Seth, you obviously don't have your finger on the pulse of the Taylorverse. I don't know.
What I do have is a 6th grade daughter who is an obsessive Swiftie. So I was aware of this. I was not aware that you made this week. Michael just mentioned it, and then you dropped into our chat, and I was like, where the hell did this come from? This looked like it took weeks.
It had to happen quick. I was going to try to do it the next day after this had posted, but I was experimenting with some weird tech to try to get it to work. Here's that I do actually love that shot.
It's incredible. I honestly, so I'm guessing you used the new character thing for Chris, and like the new whatever thing, performance like prototype thing, and then but this were just standard Raptor shots, right? All the Raptor stuff.
Which I actually saved to the very end to do the Raptorizing. I actually first did a Pratt pass of this because I was like, if I can't do Chris Pratt well, then none of this works.
That sentence as fast as you can. Yeah.
Yeah. So over here, if you want to switch to my screen, I can play a little side by side, also in After Effects.
Yeah, I like this thing you made.
All right, so here we go. So here's the breakdown of this Taylor video converted into a Owen and Blue video.
Wait, what were the papers shaped like? in your version?
Oh, it may not be as fast
There
enough for
it
you,
is.
but here we go.
I didn't think to notice it until I saw the Taylor one, which I hadn't seen the Taylor one.
Yes. So we have, so yeah, it may not be distinct enough by itself, but if you know it's a side profile, here's a little raptor outline, which, let me see, where's that comp? Is it this one? Okay, so I had a pre-comp where I just had this shape of a raptor's head, and then I plugged that into a little instance of particular over here. And this instance of particular has a bunch of these little pages of a book sprites. And so for this, all I did was I went into particular and told it to use as the emitter type a layer, and in this case it was that raptor head, and the other behavior was explode, because I really just wanted this first frame. I could have also maybe used one of the form settings for it, but as you can see, I was able to just say how many particles I wanted. That was 4,500 particles, but they'll just fill up this shape with whatever you need.
I love that we used
So,
particular for really great paper effects over the past couple episodes. I did it with the Die Hard loop of Hans falling with the paper that was particular, and this is like the perfect use of, right here, the perfect use of a form emitter on particular.
And if you saw our last week's show, you would already know this, but one thing that I learned from Michael Zalapsky on the last show was this craziness. Look, if I had a piece of paper, and I'll make it, let's see, we'll make it 80 by 110. So it's got kind of an 8.5 by 11. I guess I should make it 85, right? 8.5 by 11 dimensions like that. And then just add a little cloner, drag it into there. And then I have all of these pieces of paper, and then throw in maybe a random effector so these can be pushed around a little bit. Wait.
That one, yeah, there you go.
Around.
There we go. Let's check the rotation a bit. Turn that up. I guess I gotta.
Here, yeah.
Drop it in there.
No. Take it out. Click on the cloner itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the effectors panel, drag it in. If you had the cloner selected when you added the effector, it automatically puts it in there for you.
That's probably what I did the first time, because I was like, "This is so fast, it's ridiculous."
Yeah.
So I can just give it a little bit of that, and then. Oops, I think I had the cloner up high.
Mm-hmm.
And then I added something like a plane down here that could be the ground plane. And just for making it stand out a little different, let's make it dark. And you can tell the plane to be a simulation collider. And on the cloner itself, I can say simulation tags cloth. And in general, if I press play on this, those fall.
It just falls.
Kind of straight down, which is kind of boring. Boop. But what was really cool is that Michael taught us during the Die Hard episode. I think that's when you brought it up, right?
Last week.
It was last week. Oh, what were we
last week when we were talking about
new features in general.
Because this is something that just got added. If you go to the cloth under the forces,
boom,
you've got drag and lift now.
So watch this. If I just add a bit of lift to these,
so we can lift.
Now, if I press play, did you see it?
I saw it.
What you need to do is also go into the cloth tag and tell them that they're lighter, because right now they're very heavy.
That's a good point. They are heavy. So
under
mass here,
mass like 0.1, 0.2, something like that.
Pieces of paper. So now, look at that.
Wow.
They fall like paper.
Probably make them even lighter. 0.05 maybe. Not while it's running. There you go.
Now I've got this. And what Michael pointed out last week was that you don't have to add any
turbulence or
anything. So I just did exactly this.
That was a positive, damn it, Michael.
Damn it, Michael, that was amazing. I think I did something like a radial grid of these, made it like that, added some number of papers, put a camera. Well, it was much higher, so it could actually fall down. A camera right here or something like that, and then just pressed play. And so I could have these nice papers falling into the screen for that shot too. So it was a really quick one to recreate because I just needed that element and those, and that contributed to whatever shot that was. I don't remember by number. This one? It's probably reloading everything. Sorry.
Yeah.
Meh.
Might be a good
this is the
moment
close-up. Actually, I really did like these close-ups. I feel like there's a lot of subtle
there's some real character work happening here.
Going on here.
Raptor, yeah.
I did a little bit of modification to the Raptor model so you could see. So the nose is a little bit.
I was about to ask.
Together.
How is that eye looking straight at me? I know this model. It is not. This is impossible.
It's really hard to have straightforward eye contact with these raptors. So.
I do like the idea of in real life raptors they can't see you if you're right in front of them, and they have to look at you. They have to do this.
And they also have just a little bit of the falling paper or the paper flying around them.
Oh my God! I'm an overachiever.
Teeny
drop.
You can see the paper.
Teeny detail.
That's all I can find.
Ridiculous. But yeah, just some classic raptorizing here.
Some classic raptorizing.
Classic
raptorizing. Falling papers to its eye.
The shot that I should probably talk about. Well, this one was fun. these are all fun.
Do you have water dripping off of the raptor's nose?
I do have water dripping off of the.
Or not Action Essentials, but Action VFX or Production Crate.
Let's see. Those were Action VFX.
They have good water splashes.
They do have some great water splashes. Let's see. Which we
figured that out
on. That?
Oh, I can't talk about what we figured that out on. Never mind.
Oh yeah. We got exciting
Speaking
stuff.
Of, Michael, hype our Germany show, please.
Oh my goodness.
Germany show.
Folks, you know that you love to tune in to watch this show live. I mean, I'm sure you do. Imagine if we were doing this not just live for you on the internet, but live in front of a room of
that you don't have access to.
Yeah.
And imagine
and the people who make the software. So yeah, no, we're going to be in a couple weeks live in Germany. It'll be 5 a.m. for those of you on the East Coast, 2 a.m. for those of you on the West Coast. But if you're in Europe, let me tell you, it's going to be the most conveniently timed episode of VFX and Chill ever. Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. We've got a lot of things are being planned to make it a very rapid fire show. There's going to be some ZBrush challenges. There's going to be pretty much all the greatest hits, but done with new people and live in front of an audience of a couple hundred people, probably.
Some great special guests, and it's going to be a shorter show. It's going to be half the time. It's going to be an hour-long show. And the only mildly inconvenient thing is that it's going to be at about 4 o'clock Central Time in the morning. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's something special to getting to see it live, and so we're broadcasting it live instead of recording it and playing it later because, I
mean, of course, it will be recorded and played later. But yeah, if everything goes according to plan, it'll be live. Now, I will still be keeping an eye on the chat and feeding your comments into the show. So don't feel like you won't contribute just because there's a room of a couple hundred people there. We'll still be keeping an eye on all of you out on the internet.
We need you guys there to honestly to tee up some of our favorite drops that we do on the show.
Someone needs to say CC ball action at some point.
Yeah, we really need our business parents to see CC ball action drop, play to a room full of it's important. It's really important.
It's the best way. It really is the best. I actually love this still. I
do too.
It's amazing.
It's beautiful. It's my new wallpaper.
Look at that. So what we've got, we have Dripping Water 11 from
that's my favorite of the Dripping
Action
Waters.
VFX. And also these I have these little practical water
You don't have to
drips
see 1 through 10.
that I actually filmed on my
head
patio from an old Action Movie Kids video, the Singing in the Rain one, where I wanted it to be raining on the inside of the house, and so I filmed these.
Each individual raindrop, one at a time?
Each individual raindrop. I assembled them in something called my rain card. Let's see, where do I have it? Practical water drips. So, let me not show the masks. So here we go.
Holy crap.
I filmed a bunch of practical drips that splash all over. I think that I was filming one little area of drips, and then I made sprites out of them, and then have a couple of different renders of this that I use particular as a distributor for, so there could be drips falling all over everything. And then lastly, I'll show off this is the shot that I did first, because
while Hashi looks for that, any alarms you need to set are for May 16th? Yeah, May 16th. It'd be Thursday, May 16th, for the live Germany show. Okay, go ahead, Hashi. Sorry.
No problem. So this shot was a weird challenge. I actually.
Chris Pratt. I wish he were mine. He's always on my mind. Chris Pratt.
Just want to remind everyone.
Yes, we and Chris run deep. So here was the original shot, and it has Post Malone over here resetting a little typewriter and looking forward. And I knew that I thought maybe I can keep Chris Pratt, just replace the whole head with the Chris Pratt or something like that. And
Freaky Chill Weather says the only Chris they want to see is Pine.
We love Chris Pratt. I wish he were mine. He's always on my mind. Chris Pratt.
I might have replaced it for this episode. Don't worry about it.
Amazing.
I forgot.
So I used a tool that I think that Justin Leduc was asking me if I had used, and I was like, no, I haven't had a chance to try it out, and it's called Wiggle, wiggle, but with a V.
Very
and
Polish.
Basically you feed it footage, and then you feed it an image of a person, hopefully
the problem is it has to be Post Malone. It's a weird thing about the product, limits it. But look at what you did.
So remarkably, what it does a pretty good job at is
the pants.
The pants. The pants are great.
Specifically the hips.
They don't lie. And so it was a little bit of a wiggly result, but I was impressed that it did a pretty good job, taking Chris Pratt's costume from Lost World and sort of doing that to it.
What's the perspective on those hips, though? I just have to know. Is it?
Well, I mean,
it's trying to trick Chris Pine back to his Community days, or his
Chris Pratt back to his Parks and Rec days. Yeah, you got a lot wrong in that sentence, actually, Michael. I just want to point it out.
It read.
Sorry, I got distracted because I figured out what I wanted to talk about on the Redshift Toon shader.
Oh, we'll come back to it. I have a good transition for it. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Because it's a very big tip. If you want to find out how to do halftone shading and not just lines of shading, you'll want to keep tuned in.
So this worked out pretty well. It did the Chris Pratt body reasonably mimicking this, even though he's only slightly visible, and it's very dark. I was imagining that if you're a pose recognition algorithm, I'm impressed by it picking up this angle on him and stuff.
For sure.
And then when I took that result, I deleted a handful of the frames where the face jittered a whole lot, and then re-rendered them all with a Chris Pratt deep fake face from Deep Face Live. So that gave it a more consistent face
the titles
throughout.
Of these things, I'm sorry. Deep Face Live.
Deep Face Live. So, which was able to take my select frames that I grabbed of this, and then I also ended up just grabbing Post Malone's hand and
and walking him through this.
It lined up, I think. I feel like this looked like a different version than the final render, but it lined up remarkably well with the actual hand there. And so that was one approach I took. There was another approach that I took on this last shot here, where I actually found a different image of, I think it's an action figure of Chris Pratt that was, it's an action figure of Star-Lord. There you go. 3D model that I tracked to be in front of Post Malone's face for this one.
Oh, nice.
And then just tried to count on the crazy lighting, sort of hiding it well enough. So ridiculous. That's what we do here on the VFX and Chill.
It's nice. Any hoozles?
Ha! It's a thing.
Oh, wait a minute.
What is that?
That was the wrong one. Sorry.
There we
Any
go.
hoozles.
You've been busy this episode.
Let's talk
It's
about
amazing. Let's switch back to you, Michael.
Oh, right. Let me hop back over to Cinema 4D real quick. So let me remove my spoiler alert here. Go back to what I had prior on this tree. All right, I'm ready.
All right.
So if you hit C, or this little plus button here, and look for tone, you'll see, oh, what is this tone map pattern I see before me? If you feed this tone map pattern in instead of this tone map of the gradient, so I've got it set to halftone right now, feed that into the tone map, you'll see, boom, halftone shading immediately shows up. And you have control over the scale and the rotation, which is important if you're using like a sine wave, so you can have them rotated per model, I should point out. Let me kind of rotate around this model here, and you'll see it's like just pretty stable.
That's
pattern sine wave. You do grid. Currently, the only ones available are those three.
This is just the beginning.
Likely things will change. For example, you could feed in something to like displace with like a tile shader, for example. You can displace some things with it, but you can change the color of this. So like maybe make it not so dark. And I'm going to make it back dark again to demonstrate that you can feed this base tone map into, say, the intensity override here, and that will give you control over how that falls off, which can also get you some really neat looks as well. Again, this is fuss around with this gradient here to make that intensity of the halftoning different. So, like I said before, it gives you tons of control to do all kinds of really neat things. Again, depending on what look you're doing. For the scene, I don't want it, but yeah, it's really neat. And then when you get to do custom patterns in here, it'll be crazy. Yeah, that's what I wanted to make sure that I showed. It's one of the big things in the Toon shader that people wanted was the way to do patterns. Now you can, just not custom ones yet.
That
is a super cool feature. I love it. My goodness. I feel like we've talked about everything so delightfully today.
Yeah.
About
maybe too well and too efficiently?
Maybe too well. But I almost feel like it is.
Too well, too efficiently.
Too well, too efficiently. Just they're like, all right. Like, what are we doing? Like, oh, we finished robbing the bank. Like,
oh. We have another hour left, and we're out of gas. No, we have. Wait, that goes against the efficient. Happy birthday, Seth. You ground this show to a halt again.
Yeah, I feel like because it is a very whirly birthday, we should celebrate by giving some time back to our lovely viewers.
Yeah, we'll stop stealing this time from you. You're forced to spend with us. Before we go, is there anything we want to hype or talk about or mention or?
We should mention that we won't be live next week, as we will be we'll be learning
German.
to speak German, and perfectly for our show. So it's actually the next 2 weeks. We will not be around for May 3rd or 10th because we are getting ready for an extra special episode on the 16th.
Yes. And let me tell you, again, the Germany show, it's going to be incredible. You're going to love it.
Oh,
Stu
Mashwitz says, Hippo Birdie, Seth.
Oh, thanks, Stu. The Germany show, one more time, we're May 16th at 5 a.m. Eastern, I believe, is when it's going to be. And
2 a.m. Pacific.
2 a.m. Pacific. So that's better. It's right before you go to bed. Right, Stu?
Yeah, and if you're on the West Coast, you're probably still up compositing
on
stuff.
A Thursday.
So.
Yeah, it may be, as Hashi said, the 1 hour that freelancers sleep. But this is more important than sleep. Trust me, we're very excited about the show. And if everything goes according to plan, it's going to be one of my favorite episodes we've ever done. A lot of firsts.
Although there is a lot of if happening in that sentence.
A lot of if.
If everything goes according to plan, it's going to be amazing.
If everything goes according to plan.
If
we've done all of our calculations and, ask for the proper things.
I also love that we keep setting it up by saying, like Michael did earlier, of saying, you've seen us live on the internet. How would you like to see us live on a stage? And people who don't have access to that room, people can't get in there unless they work at Maxon. So like we said, if you want to be there live in person. But
it's so very special to us.
If you want to be there live and in person, get a job, a career at Maxon, start it right now. You better get started. There's very little time left. Just don't tell them we sent you because that might not
Maxon.net/careers and tell them I sent you.
Ooh, there we go.
There we go. All right, guys.
Incredible. Well, happy birthday, Seth. Happy Tooniversary.
Thanks, guys.
And what happened to Michael? Why did Michael get a?
What?
Why was there an emoji? What just happened?
Was that in Skype?
Oh, maybe it was in Skype.
I didn't do anything. Oh, there's balloons. Michael's hitting them balloons. They don't show up for the show.
No, they don't show up in the show.
No. But you know what does show up on the show? Anywho, we'll see you guys next week. Oh, no, we won't. We'll see you in Germany on May 16th. Goodbye.
See you in Germany.
Don't come to Germany. You can't get in. Just get online. Listen to everything we said before.